Hello, my friends. Today, I want to speak to the part of you that has felt broken, overlooked, or crushed under the weight of injustice. This moment is for you, the one who has been crying out, wondering if anyone sees your pain, if anyone hears your prayers. Let me assure you, God sees, and His justice is at work even now. In a world where wrongdoing often seems to thrive, it's easy to lose hope. You've watched as those who deceive and harm appear to rise while you fight to stay afloat. But this is not the end of your story. Divine justice is not bound by human timelines or appearances. It moves with precision, turning every lie into a downfall and every wrong into a stepping stone toward redemption. This is your moment to reclaim your strength. Let today be the day you stop doubting and start believing in the unstoppable power of truth and righteousness. The darkness will not prevail, and injustice will not have the final say. Together, let's explore how God's justice unfolds and how it will not only restore you, but make you stronger than ever before. The shadows of injustice, when the wicked seem to triumph. It's hard to stay hopeful when it feels like darkness surrounds you, isn't it? Watching the wicked thrive while the righteous struggle can make you question everything, your faith, your purpose, and even your strength. Injustice has a way of casting a heavy shadow over our lives. You see those who lie, cheat, and oppress walking around with smiles on their faces, seemingly untouched by consequence. Their victories appear effortless, their plans unchecked. And yet here you are, carrying the weight of doing what is right, only to feel overlooked and defeated. It's easy to feel small in moments like these. You might find yourself wondering why God allows such things to happen. Why does He let the unjust rise while the faithful stumble? The triumph of the wicked is temporary. It's a fleeting illusion, like a house of cards built on unstable ground. The shadows may seem powerful now, but they cannot outlast the light. The truth is, what you're witnessing isn't the whole story. What seems like a victory for the wicked is often a trap of their own making. Their triumphs are not built on truth or righteousness. They are rooted in selfishness, greed, and lies, and anything rooted in lies is bound to crumble. Still, I know how painful it is to wait. Seeing others prosper in their wrongdoing can leave you feeling unseen, as though your struggles don't matter. But you matter more than you know. God sees every tear, every prayer, and every effort to stay faithful. Though it feels like injustice has won the day, remember, shadows only exist where there is light. In these moments of despair, hold on to this truth. The wicked may seem to stand tall, but their foundation is weak. Their victories are hollow. And though the shadows loom large, they are powerless against the enduring brilliance of God's justice. The darkness is not permanent. The light will come. Hold on to that promise. The unseen hand, God's plan, unfolds in silence. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't happening. When God works, His hand often moves in ways we don't recognize until much later. But that doesn't make His plan any less powerful. It's easy to believe nothing is changing when injustice continues to reign. The silence can feel like abandonment, and the waiting can test your faith in ways you never thought possible. But silence does not mean inactivity. God is always at work, even when you can't see it. Think of a seed buried deep within the soil. To the naked eye, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading, life is stirring, and growth is beginning. The same is true of God's plan. It unfolds with precision and purpose, often hidden from our view until the time is right. God's justice isn't rushed, it isn't reactive, it's deliberate and unstoppable. While the wicked are busy building their empires of deceit, God is preparing the ground beneath their feet. Every lie they've told, every unjust gain they've taken, each becomes a thread in the web of their own downfall. But God's plan doesn't just focus on bringing the wicked to account. He's working in you too. Every moment you've spent feeling unseen has been a moment of preparation. Your resilience is growing, your strength is deepening, and your spirit is learning to trust in ways you couldn't before. The waiting is painful, but it's not wasted. This unseen work is the hallmark of divine justice. It's not always loud or immediate, but it's always precise. What the wicked believe they've secured will eventually become their undoing, and what feels like silence to you is actually the sound of God weaving together a perfect resolution. Trust in the unseen hand of God. Just because you don't hear it or see it doesn't mean He isn't working. His plans are never hurried, but they are never wrong. Keep believing, because even in silence, He is moving. The seeds of justice are growing, and when they bloom, their beauty will be undeniable. The cracks begin to show, the weakening of false power. Every fortress built on lies eventually shows its cracks. No matter how strong or invincible it may appear, false power cannot hold itself together forever. When we see the wicked rise to power, it's easy to think their victories are permanent. They stand tall, untouched by the consequences of their actions, and the world often seems to bend in their favor. What's built on lies can never endure. False power is like a grand structure built on quicksand. For a time, it stands tall and impressive. People marvel at its size and admire its success, but underneath the surface, instability grows. The weight of their deceit, the selfishness in their hearts, and the harm they've caused to others, it all begins to erode their foundation. At first, the cracks are small and easy to miss. You might not even notice them. But as time passes, those cracks widen. Their plans begin to unravel, their control weakens, and their confidence falters. The same arrogance that drove them to victory becomes their greatest weakness, blinding them to the fragility of their position. The beauty of this moment is that it happens not through your intervention, but through the natural unraveling of falsehoods. Truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how deeply it's buried, and when it does, the power of the wicked starts to crumble under its weight. You might begin to see subtle signs. Their tone shifts, their decisions become erratic, and the consequences of their actions start catching up with them. What once seemed like an unshakable empire begins to show just how hollow it really is. It's a reminder that God's justice doesn't need your strength to succeed. He is already working behind the scenes to expose what cannot stand. When you start to see the cracks, don't be surprised. This is the natural course of injustice. What's false cannot last. Stand firm and watch as the strength you thought they had begins to fail them. The unraveling has begun, and it's a sign that divine justice is drawing closer. The truth always has the final say. The collapse unfolds, witnessing divine justice in action. When the mighty fall, it's not just a spectacle, it's a reckoning. Divine justice doesn't arrive quietly. It makes sure everyone knows the truth. There comes a moment when the cracks in false power can no longer hold. What once seemed unbreakable collapses under its own weight, and the wicked face the full consequences of their actions. It's not just a shift, it's a complete reversal. You've waited in the shadows, enduring the pain and confusion of seeing wrong prevail. And now, as God's justice unfolds, it's like a storm sweeping through the landscape, dismantling the plans of the wicked piece by piece. Their lies are exposed. Their confidence turns to panic. What they built through deceit is reduced to rubble before your eyes. This is not a moment of revenge, but a revelation. It's a profound reminder that God's justice is precise and unyielding. Every action, every choice made in selfishness was a seed planted in their own destruction. Their downfall isn't random or chaotic. It's the natural harvest of the harm they've sown. You may feel a surge of emotions when this collapse happens. Relief, vindication, even sadness. It's all valid. Watching someone face the consequences of their actions is sobering, even when it's deserved. But through it all, there's also a deep sense of reassurance. This is the proof you've been waiting for, the undeniable evidence that God's justice never fails. What's remarkable is how this justice often unfolds in ways you couldn't predict. The very things the wicked relied on to maintain their power, their lies, their alliances, their arrogance, become the tools of their undoing. It's as if their schemes turned against them, exposing their weaknesses for all to see. And here you stand, a witness to it all. You might have felt powerless before, but now you see how powerful the truth truly is. This is the moment where everything you've endured begins to make sense. As you watch the collapse, let it affirm your faith. The wicked never truly prosper, and God never turns a blind eye. Divine justice doesn't just punish, it restores. What was broken will be made whole, and the truth will always rise. Hold on to this moment as a reminder that the light always overcomes the darkness. The triumph of truth, redemption in God's justice. Truth is the strongest force in the universe. When it rises, it doesn't just win, it heals, restores, and brings everything into alignment with what's right. The collapse of the wicked is not the end of the story. It's only the beginning of something greater, the triumph of truth. This is the moment when righteousness takes its rightful place, shining brighter than ever before. For so long, you've carried the weight of injustice, questioning if anyone saw your struggle or if your perseverance even mattered. But now, as the truth unfolds, you see it all coming together. God's justice doesn't just break down the wicked, it lifts up the righteous. It redeems what was lost, restores what was broken, and turns mourning into joy. Redemption is a powerful thing. It's not just about undoing the damage caused by injustice, it's about creating something even stronger and more beautiful in its place. The pain you endured, the tears you cried, the battles you fought, they weren't wasted. They became the foundation for something extraordinary. God's justice isn't content with mere punishment for wrongdoing. It seeks to restore balance and bring clarity. The lies that once clouded your path are gone, replaced by a crystal-clear vision of what was always true. Righteousness doesn't just prevail, it thrives. This victory isn't about revenge or gloating over those who wronged you. It's about stepping into the light, knowing you've been protected and guided all along. It's about embracing the peace that comes when you realize that God has always had the final say. As truth triumphs, you may feel a surge of relief and strength. It's a reassurance that no matter how dark things seemed, righteousness was never defeated. This is the moment you've been waiting for, a moment that confirms every effort, every prayer, and every act of faith was worth it. This is the beauty of redemption. It turns pain into purpose and darkness into light. The triumph of truth doesn't just expose injustice, it transforms lives. As you stand in this victory, let it remind you that God's justice is perfect, His timing is flawless, and His truth is unstoppable. The battle is won, and righteousness has claimed the final word. Unstoppable through redemption, strength in God's justice. When redemption takes root, it doesn't just heal, it empowers. True strength is born from knowing that God's justice has prevailed and that no darkness can extinguish the light within you. You've walked through the shadows of injustice, waited in the silence, witnessed the collapse of the wicked, and stood in the triumph of truth. Now, it's time to rise, not just as someone who survived, but as someone who is unstoppable. God's justice doesn't just restore what was taken, it creates a new foundation for your life. This is the strength that comes from redemption. It's the quiet confidence that no matter what comes next, you are grounded in truth and protected by divine power. Being unstoppable doesn't mean you'll never face challenges again. Life will still bring storms, but this time, you face them differently. The lessons you've learned, the faith you've built, and the resilience you've discovered, they all make you unshakable. You've seen how God works, even in the darkest moments, and that knowledge becomes your greatest source of strength. Enemies may try to rise again, but they no longer hold the same power over you. Why? Because you've seen what happens when God steps in. You've witnessed the collapse of false power, the triumph of truth, and the restoration of what was lost. That memory becomes your armor, reminding you that no injustice lasts forever and no darkness can overpower divine justice. This is what it means to be unstoppable. It's not about relying on your own strength, but walking in the assurance that God is with you. His justice is your shield, His truth is your guide, and His love is your foundation. You are not the same person you were before this journey began. You are stronger, wiser, and more grounded in faith than ever. The beauty of this redemption is that it doesn't just stop with you. Your story becomes a beacon for others, showing them that no matter how impossible their situation seems, God's justice is always at work. Your strength inspires strength in others, creating a ripple effect of hope and resilience. Redemption has made you unstoppable. You've been tested, but you've emerged victorious, stronger than ever before. Let this be your anthem. No matter what lies ahead, you walk in the light of God's justice, fearless and unshakable. The darkness tried to overcome you, but it failed. Now you shine as a testament to the power of divine justice and unyielding truth. As we come to the end of this message, I want to leave you with a truth that is unshakable. No matter what you face, no matter how powerful injustice may seem, God's justice is always greater. You are never forgotten, never overlooked, and never alone. His light will break through the darkness, and His plan will bring redemption in ways you cannot yet imagine. If this message spoke to your heart today, don't keep it to yourself. Take a moment to subscribe to this channel and like this video so that others can find the hope and encouragement they need. By doing so, you're not just supporting this mission, you're becoming part of a community that stands together in faith and resilience. Thank you for sharing your time and your heart with me today. Remember, you are stronger than you realize, and with God's justice at your side, there is no challenge you cannot overcome. Stay faithful, stay hopeful, and never stop believing in the power of truth and redemption. Until next time, take care of yourself, and may peace and light guide your path. See you soon.